1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah. Come on. Hey.
It's February 2nd, 2023, and you're listening to episode 321 of the PHPUgly podcast, a weekly developer podcast focused on the PHP programming language and surrounding community. I'm your host, Eric Van Johnson, and we get together every week on Thursday night, 9 p.m. Pacific time. You can come join us, watch our live stream, YouTube, Twitch. I don't even know where else we stream anymore, to be honest with you. And you can participate in that live stream by joining us in our Discord channel at discord.phpugly.com. They become part of the show. We enjoy that, believe it or not. And yeah, we would like to thank a couple of people, couple of groups, couple of organizations for sponsoring the show. First off, we have Honey Badger. And as always, we'd like to thank our Patreons on Patreon. We're going to talk about all of them a little later in the show. But for now, allow me to introduce my co-hosts, John Congdon.
Hello, hello.
And Tom Rightup.
Good evening.
My lighting is way off.
I'm happy you were able to join us, John.
Me too. Although I can't believe you doubted it.
I'm happy I was able to join. I'm happy I was able to join. I forgot that I have an old spinning disk hard drive in this computer, and that means it takes a half an hour to reboot.
I saw you post that in Discord. I'm like, who has spinning disk anymore? How old is this computer?
Well, as a computer professional, you can't date the computer as a whole. Obviously, components individually have their own ages, and the SSD that was in there died a horrible death after 10 years. So my emergency backup supply came in, and I literally have just the box with like a 1 terabyte SSD right here that I just haven't put into it yet, because like getting under my desk and taking the panel off is hard.
Well, you're about to move it anyway, so
yeah, I was gonna say just do it when you move it.
Right. So like once I have it off the ground and in a container truck, I'll have it moved.
So what's the status with that? What's everything still on schedule?
I saw the picture of you in the big sign. Like,
yeah, you look so happy.
They ask you to sign paperwork for 2 hours, and then they're like, hey, also, now that you're done with that, just smile real big so that we can promote our realty company. And I'm like, my hand hurts, and I don't want to do that. And my wife, who had to sign 3 things, said, "Come on, honey, just take the picture. It's big."
What do you mean? I had to sign
I
3
had-
things.
I had-
You're not co-owners of the property.
No, she is a co-owner of the property. I have the loan.
You're not right. You don't both. You're not both on the loan paperwork too.
No, she's a teacher.
I don't know what you're talking about. Every time I bought a house, both my wife and I had to sign the same papers, and we both like.
Yes, but
It's
my wife's
like
a teacher. She
no.
doesn't-
She gets a
She's
pass.
a drug dealer. She's a federal prison. No, she's not on the loan.
if she were a drug dealer, she'd have lots of money and she would go on the loan. No, teachers in America are historically underpaid.
Doesn't matter. You're
as such
it's
for
a
professional-
joint
your loan.
account.
It was in the best interest of the loan if I took the loan out independently, but we both were owners of the home.
You see, that's how the wife divorces you, gets the house, and doesn't have to worry about the loan. I'm just saying.
Oh,
She might be a little
I am
smarter
well aware.
than just a school teacher smart.
He hasn't stopped smiling since we signed the paperwork, and I think it's because we bought a new house, but I can't be sure. It might just be that I bought her a new house, although I'm pretty sure she loves me because I did manage to do something so romantic that it made her cry twice now.
Okay,
Do we
I'm
want?
very
I'm buying her bees.
What did you say?
She's always loved bees. She's always loved bees.
Oh yeah.
And it's always been one of those, like, we can never have a beehive because...
So you told her about it?
So I did tell her about the bees. Well, because it turns out when you buy something on your card from Bee Supplies Colorado Springs, it shows up in your credit card receipt as Bee Supplies Colorado Springs.
I gotta be honest with you, Tom. That whole gesture just bugs me.
Not bugs.
Insects you.
Yeah.
The joke doesn't work if you say insects, though. Tom, stay with it.
It didn't work anyways.
I
Wasn't going to shit on it unless it did work. So we're very excited. We're going to be beekeepers. I'm going to theme many parts of the house in hexagons, not the black and white necessarily, but we are just going to have like subtle hexagon representation around the house. We are right in the middle of the process of renovation though, and holy shit, it takes so much work. I'm losing my mind.
Hey, Eric, if your kids or extended kids are going to be on all the platforms, they should be moderators, please.
I'm about to moderate them
Yeah,
off
I
the
would-
damn thing.
I would go the opposite direction, say that if your kids are going to be on the platforms, we need to moderate them much more closely.
I was gonna say, especially if all they're gonna do is spam us talking to themselves. And hey,
I'm not
welcome
sure.
back.
I had
Buttery.
to I had to delete a message earlier, so they could do that.
Oh, did you?
Just saying.
Where?
I just said,
Yeah, so we are taking down a wall. We are completely reflooring the living room and kitchen. We are repainting everything and new countertops, new sink. And we have 2 weeks to get all of that done. And it's driving me and my wife a little bit crazy.
So you have ownership of the house now.
Yeah, so the day after we recorded last week, I signed the closing papers. We have official ownership.
are you going over
it's
every
funny
day and
'cause
just
when
like
you
running
sign-
around naked in the house?
My kids are, which is weird. I've had several conversations with my kids where they were like, "Yeah, I just went to the house to hang out in my new empty room," and I was like, "You could have taken some boxes with you."
Well, you know, they have
House
to get over
full
there
of
early and
boxes.
pee in their room so they can mark their territory.
Yeah, well, so I drink a lot of fluids, I've had to settle for wolf urine just to get the smell deep enough. My own scent is not strong enough, but it's starting to attract neighbors and bees.
That's a good first impression right there.
Yeah, so we're very excited. The kids are more excited than I thought they would be, and hoped they would be. I thought that they would treat this as sort of like a temporary living situation. They seem to
You
be
just
planning
extended
for
that
10
living
years.
situation by giving them more room.
Yeah, it seems like a miscalculation on my end.
Yeah, waiting another year or two would probably have
Yeah.
helped.
Well, because they all seemed about ready to move out a couple months ago. Like emails saying like I can't fucking stand this anymore, but now they're all really excited to be living together again. And as much as I love that family unity, it was not the goal.
He's
All
got
right.
his elephant.
ButteryCrumpet wins for best picture in Discord so far.
Yeah, let me pull up Discord. Oh, Buttery. You need
That didn't work. That didn't
that
work.
didn't work. Oh, I know why.
You're-
Oh, I got to fix that. I know why.
Hmm.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Do tell. All right, while you're doing that, yeah,
No,
I'm happy.
fixing it.
I was
You talk.
I'm happy I was able to make it tonight too. I somehow found myself roped into volunteering to be a little league manager for a team because they kept sending emails saying we need more managers, and I kept being like, somebody else will do it, not me.
More project management talk.
And finally, it got to a point where it was, we need managers or we're not doing the draft. So I'm like, fine. I've been kind of considering it, the first couple times I saw the emails, and finally decided to do it, and went to the
That's
draft
how they
tonight. and
rope you in.
It was interesting.
The funniest story I remember as a kid, my dad every year would say, "That's it. I'm not coaching anymore. This is my last year coaching." And then the next year, of course, he would end up coaching somewhere. It wouldn't always be the team I was on, just within the organization somewhere. And then it came to, I mean it this time. There's no way they're going to get me to coach. I'm only going to the meeting to let them know I am not coaching. Don't put me on a team. And he comes home and my mom's like, "Who are you coaching?" He goes, "I'm not coaching anybody." And she kind of looks at him. He goes, "I'm the commissioner."
So he was coaching teams that you weren't on?
Yeah,
I guess
Almost
past-
exclusive.
Yeah, he only coached a couple of teams I was actually on, and I think only once or twice was he the actual coach. Like, I think he was assistant coach a couple times, but besides that, no, he typically coached some other layer. He liked to coach intramurals, yeah, a lot. Yeah, the kids that are just starting. He coached them.
I guess my mind's only in little league because that's where I'm at. Once you get past that, I know it gets a whole lot different. Like when you get into travel ball or the upper ages.
Yeah, the structure was a little different for me growing up. But like I had never heard of travel ball until I moved out here, and I wish I had that opportunity as a kid. It just seems like a fantastic opportunity. But yeah, no, we just
for the kid, not for the parents.
Oh, true. I'm more interested. I am happy you were able to make it, John. But I'm more interested. Is your week going any better than last?
Oh my
last
God! As of now, yes. But this week worked all weekends, and then all this week, like people like 5, 6, 7 of us staying up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and 2, 3 o'clock in the morning for me is 5, 6 o'clock for people on the East Coast, and I'm like, why don't you guys go to bed? I'll do this other thing. And they'd stay up, and it was just, yeah, there was a lot of effort put into getting the client back online. I know I shared a little bit. I still don't know how much I can share, but yeah, overnight they were shut down. They were dead in the water. They do phone calls, and all of a sudden they couldn't make phone calls with any carrier. CEOs up at 2:00 in the morning talking to CEOs of carriers to get things going, and it was just nuts how much work went into getting them back up and functioning.
I'm happy you were able to do it.
It's been an experience. Like, I've been doing stuff in Asterisk since 2003, 2004. So
Asterisk?
What?
Did you say Asterisk?
Asterisk. It's a PBX phone system. It's open source telephony software. And so I'm not deep in it because you can do a hell of a lot more than I have. But I've done things in the past where setting up kind of like a call center where agents would get on and take phone calls for customer service, using it for internal phones. So you used to have SIP phones sitting on the desk that you could program, which was really cool. So calling between offices, now using it for outbound calling, getting back into it because I do PHP most of the time. It's been fun for sure.
Cool. Well, I have, I think, somewhat of an awkward admission to make.
What is that?
And I don't know. When you kind of like are one of the bosses, you get smoke blowing up your ass sometimes because they just don't want you to know how bad you are. But I actually got a compliment on my project management skills.
Oh no!
Wait, who did it? Who did it, and who should I fire?
Quit on the spot?
I'm like, so what? Yeah. I took. I've been telling you guys about Notion for a while, and I did some project management. I've been using it, to do my project management, the little project management I do as far as our weekly meetings and things like that, and tracking, who should be doing what sort of thing. But a project that I'm working on with a couple of other developers, we had the meeting with the client who was a little too excited about how well the project turned out. I mean, it was like, I had mocked up some pages to kind of be a placeholder of, okay, the idea is you come to a landing page, then you go into this order workflow.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it's when we do this, and I'm showing them the pages. I'm like, when we do this for real, we want to kind of keep a little bit of the style where it's very minimalistic, because their goal is to have something that's has high performance. This is one that I was doing a lot of load testing for. And so I'm like, you don't want to put a lot of assets on it. You want to try to keep it kind of lean and mean. And they're looking at it as like, no, this is perfect. I'm like, yeah, exactly. What do you mean this is perfect? Because no, this will work. I'm like, those aren't real words on the page. You know that, right? But yeah, so they really liked it. I mean, they came back with a bunch of changes they want us to make and a couple of tweaks, and so I captured all that stuff. Oh yeah, along that same line, I captured all that stuff. I put it in Notion, and then because I'm working with these other developers, I kind of divvied everything up, because this is, I don't really want to call it a microservice, but it is kind of a microservice. It's there's got to be another name for this architecture, but everybody's kind of working on their own service, their own application in this architecture. And so I just had to divvy up everybody's task. And I did it in Notion in a way where they could see what they're working on. They could see what tasks were dependent on their service, as well as what task it was related to that might have to be done before they can get theirs done, because I do the backend API. So like just about everything is dependent on me first creating an API endpoint that either they can read from or they can write to. So a lot of things are dependent on me doing the API endpoint and that. So I don't know. I spent a good amount of time in Notion with it, and they seem to really like the flow.
I think that your mic keeps cutting out, Tom. I think the team needs to go to Open API spec talks at Tech, because I think you get away from that. I have to create the API endpoint first. You just agree to the spec first, and then you can both work separately. You write the API to fulfill the spec. They write the consuming code to consume your spec, knowing that you're going to give them what they need when you're ready.
Yeah, and that's basically what I was going to say, is that in my most recent projects, when I have a front-end and back-end communication, I have the spec established as a receive X, respond Y system. And there's systems like Canary that can sort of like prep that for you. Postman has a tier where you can create an artificial API that expects certain things and responds certain ways. But are you saying that you were developing the API first and then the intake?
The API is already developed. We're just adding new fields that can be passed to it. In some cases, new fields that are being sent to like the front end or the payment processing. So most 95% of the API is built. I think I'm going to create one new API endpoint, possibly, for sure. I am. Everything else is just, let's tweak this endpoint to include this field, sort of conversation.
I've seen a lot of stuff out there that's about like versioning your API, but I haven't really seen any good packages for. I assume this is like a Laravel project.
Yes.
So I kind of wish there was something easier for API versioning within Laravel, because Laravel's like right where it should be, simple to just insert a thing that auto versions your controllers, where you can extend a controller with a version number and say like, this is the new response.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how that would be super difficult, especially with the way you break down routes, right? I mean, just creating new groups with the V number in front of it, sort of thing. Or I don't know. This is a greenfield app, so it hasn't even been launched yet. Obviously, we're still building it, so I'm not too overly concerned about versioning today. But it is something to take in consideration, especially if they really run with this.
It depends on what the API is being used for. Like the APIs you're building, it's currently internal usage. Like we're building the front end and the back end. It's not an open API for anybody to use, right? So I don't think versioning is as important. That's
actually a great point. Yeah.
Making a public API, versioning becomes a whole lot more important.
I mean, absolutely, the versioning becomes important, but it also depends on the size of the project, because finding that time as a project manager to get the front end to mesh with the back end can take a month or 2 months, depending on what you're working on. So like in a bigger team, even if it's just internal, you might want to release stuff that's not compatible across the board.
Perhaps. I'll cross that bridge when I get to it, I guess.
Yeah, but again, at that point, it's not being built cohesively, like a front end and a back end. You're talking about having multiple teams that are doing things differently, where if you had two different teams hitting the same API, they may be at different versioning points.
Right, which is really the situation I run into where we have things that everyone says don't touch that because a lot of weird stuff uses that and we don't want to screw it up.
Welcome to legacy monolith teams.
Well, but
Not even
one of the things I heard this week was that developers who are developing Greenfield today are building tomorrow's legacy application.
we say that. That's our thing.
That was the intro that you guys said, stop saying it's so stupid, stop saying it so long.
That makes a bit more sense. So if you're in that business where you're developing tomorrow's legacy application, start with versioning everything as 1.0. Make sure that when it gets to be like an actual legacy application, you've got that thing to fall back on. Because I'm building billing systems, customer facing, enterprise facing. Like I'm building 8 different things at once. They're not all going to be on the same version at the same time. It's a thing I just came up with. Building tomorrow's legacy applications today.
I want to address something. I thought it was related to something else, but it turns out it wasn't. Ben Ramsey, the infamous election stealing Ben Ramsey, is in our Discord saying that my tweet of the go live didn't post to our Mastodon account. I'm like, well, that's crazy. I use a service for that, so I should have just done it. Well, apparently not anymore. I saw this. So the service I was using to cross post between Twitter and Mastodon, which is a big deal because I'm using it for PHP Architect, PHPUgly, as well as my personal account, and PHP Tech as well, is apparently no more. I thought this was going to be related to the fact that Twitter is implementing a pricing tier for their API, but it does not appear to be this way. According to his post, he actually posted this back on December 23rd, saying that at the end of January he was going to shut it down.
There was a place I could look up these kinds of notifications.
Yeah. So the cool thing about it is this was an open source project. I do have the GitHub repo. So I've been able to run it, so I know it works. The only issue is now I have to get an API key for it, which apparently I'm going to have to pay for to post to Twitter. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. It looks like yet another one of these services. We talked about it a few weeks ago about being dependent on other services for your organization. This is kind of example where I kind of need to take ownership over it. Fortunately, again, the benefit of using open source is you can just grab the project and handle it yourself. I'm going to probably do that for a little while. Maybe if others in the community are still using it or still dependent on it, they can reach out and let PHP Architect know. Maybe we'll make it an official PHP Architect instance or something. But
so did it actually say why? I saw briefly on your screen there where it was saying that it was just too much work. There was a lot of support requests and everything. It wasn't a financial decision.
Yeah, I literally pulled it up as we were talking, so I haven't read through it. I'll tell you what, I will throw it in the show notes, and I will throw it in Trilio right now. So if anybody else wants to read it, they are more than welcome to.
Ramsey is giving you another option for a cross poster as well.
Hey, fantastic. Thank you, Ramsey. I don't care what everybody says about you. You're still a jerk.
This is how we make friends in the community. Fucking Steve.
Ramsey. Let me go ahead and share this with well, I guess I don't need to share it in Discord, although it will repost in Discord. Oh shoot, what happened? Is that the right? Oh wow, what a weird URL that is. Okay.
Yes, click the weird URL.
Wait, that's weird. It didn't.
What
It
are you
didn't-
talking about?
I clicked. Maybe that was my first mistake. I clicked on the URL from Ben Ramsey. And it didn't populate the address bar correctly or something. I don't know. It's weird. But here, everybody interested, make this a little bigger. Boom, 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 boom. So I guess
Yeah.
I will be giving this a try. What was that, Tom?
ASCII art is a good giveaway that you've been hacked in some way.
Link your Mastodon account
Yeah,
and Twitter.
I've seen it in lots of PHP files in the past.
I might
enter
just
your
do this live.
password.
Do it live. Okay, Discord, I'm sorry. I'm going to add that to Trello so it makes it into the show notes, which means it will post again to Discord.
Compromises.
I
our Trello.
apologize. Apologize for that.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to do this live. You guys keep talking. I'm adding a new cross poster.
Well, you were talking about bringing that in and taking ownership of it, and that's going back to my week. That's basically what I've been doing. Is instead of using third parties to do things for us, it's by bringing it in house, rebuilding it, which is shocking. How, again, working till 3 o'clock in the morning, but how quickly some of these things have been rebuilt, and we're able to handle that now. Makes it a lot easier where now we can go to other providers and we're not tied to a single vendor, which has always been a concern, right? You integrate so tightly with some third party. What happens when they go away? So it's been an interesting week in the sense that we're trying to remove a lot of those bottlenecks and have,
Well, you mean
be
you're finding that
feature
you're not
complete.
as closely tied to things as you thought you were?
That we're what?
You're not as closely tied to things as you thought you were.
No, we were.
No.
In the
I think
sense
it's just
that
the opposite.
we were way too tied to
I
a
mean,
specific
code-wise.
vendor. No, code-wise, we were way too tied to that vendor. So the cool part was I was able to on our code side continue with the responses we were giving and make my asterisk boxes act as if they were the vendor and say, hey, this just happened. What do I need to do? And then, we gave the same response back we would give the vendor and then act on it. So
Is this something you can open source?
Interesting.
You can contribute back to the people that you've
no,
profited from?
no, because where we used wasn't open source.
Oh.
It was just an API.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
But
doesn't
I kind of I go around and around on this, and John's been privy to many of these conversations where I always have these like visions of grandeur where everything in my company is open source. Everything in my company is maintained and owned by us. I've tried to talk John into like implementing Nextcloud instead of using Dropbox or Google Docs or what's the Slack one I kept talking about? There's a Slack open source Slack version, and I love this idea of doing it and owning it, but then I barely have enough time to manage the paid services we use. There's no way I'm going to have the time to manage the servers and keep everything up to date and make sure there are no security issues. I just struggle, man.
And then a lot of these things, like Slack, has integrations built in that you just don't have with the open source. I'm not saying you can't, but it's there.
That's the open source one I was looking. There's a couple. I think Rocket's another one, but Mattermost was the one I was looking at. Mattermost and Nextcloud were the two big things I was.
Wasn't Mattermost? There was something so confusing about that. Trying to get that up and running, I thought. I don't remember.
I've done it a couple times, but and I will say, yeah. See, the Slack thing is tough. Mattermost is pretty good. Like, if you look at the Mattermost project, there is a lot of integrations out there, even maybe some things that Slack doesn't have. And for a hot minute, I've been ranting about Tailscale, and I will continue to rant about Tailscale and how much I enjoy Tailscale. I thought, well, I could actually run Mattermost on a machine that I have just for the company, which would be fine, right? It's really for companies, company communications. But again, to John's point, I can't use any integrations with it, not because it's Mattermost, but because it's on my Tailscale network. GitHub wouldn't be able to communicate to it, or whatever external services I try to use wouldn't be able to communicate to it. So I pump the brakes on that.
And there's also the fact that, like with Slack, I don't use it just for PHP Architect. I use it for lots of other companies. So it would be not replacing Slack, but being in addition to Slack, which makes it hard
but
as
here's
well.
my thing on that. Slack is so expensive, and I only have to pay for my company. I don't have to pay for the other ones. So I'll use it for the other ones. Slack has got to be one of the more expensive services we use, and we get a lot out of it. I just don't know if it justifies that much money. And then there's the whole, we don't own, who owns that data? Not that it's been a problem, but I don't know.
All right, you've convinced me it's an expense. Let's get rid of it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the whole money aspect of this. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense to me now.
I'm not clear on this. How much does Slack cost?
A lot.
Because to me, Slack has always been an end user experience. Or a free service for very small teams.
Yeah, so your free service is great, except it only maintains the past 10,000 chats. And in a company like when we were on the free service and I wanted to go back and search, it's amazing how quickly you burn through that chat and you just don't have access to the history.
Is that a global 10,000 or is it per channel?
Yeah, it's global.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I'm wondering how much we have for our dog and cat owner specific channels. Like, what is that costing us?
Well, and Slack changed their free tier. Did change their free tier. I don't know what changes they made to it because again, we're paying for it, so it's not that.
Give me a rough, slightly embarrassing.
You can go to Slack's website. Let's just go to. I should be able to go to Slack.com, right? They have their pricing on there, don't they? Slack.com. That's not .com.
It just says talk to sales. Okay, so it's expensive enough that they don't publish their price.
No, they publish it.
No, it's right there. It's right there. So it's $7 a month per user.
Everything's per user.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not. So the pro, yeah, okay. So good Lord.
Yeah, I think we're on the business plan. We must be on the business plan based on how much we pay a month. So that's
more
a
than
month.
likely.
Yeah. So go say $7 a month, and you have a small company of 10 people. That's almost $100. That's $70 a month you're paying just for chat when there's hundreds of free chat services out there. You got Skype, you've got Telegram, you've got, I mean, a ton of them. And all of a sudden you're trying to justify in your head why it makes sense to pay $70 a month for
Eric,
your employees.
You're going to be so proud of your Spanish-speaking kid. Not knowing that Kevin is being sarcastic, your Spanish-speaking kid stepped up and it's like, no, Git's one thing and GitHub's another.
I feel very bad for my Spanish-speaking kid. They reached out to me. They've started their new school year. I shared with everybody how I was enjoying helping them through their programming classes. They had to do a bunch of Python programming, and they let me know yesterday. They're like, hey, we've started our new programming class, and this semester is Java. I'm like, I'm noping out on you. Good luck with that. Enjoy yourself. That sucks.
Take your time to learn it. It's not so bad. I mean, I can only hack in it. I can't write good code in it, but
Just pass the class.
that's
I'm gonna
all
go
I
the
did, and that's the problem. And I barely
direction
did that.
What?
When
And I
they
gotta.
talk about math, focus intently. When they're talking about anything other than math, just get a C. Because the math
No.
part is going to bite you in the ass when you go to any language. But the language-specific stuff, the grammar, man, you don't need 500 character length function names. And I don't know why Java is a specialty at that, but don't.
It's funny
weird to
because
me-
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, what's weird to me is their major is not computer programming. Their
How's
major
that
is
weird?
a science. Why would you have to take a Java class unless your major was some sort of computer sci major? Like, why would you have to take a Java class? That just seems cruel.
This is a full-length topic that you've introduced. And we've got to get to our sponsors and pay the
We
bills.
have no Trello. I appreciate that, Tom. That was a good one. Wow.
The glasses
we
came
did-
up. That means I'm fucking serious.
Speaking of services we use that I don't want to host myself, Honey Badger is a real service that PHP Architect uses for their clients and for ourselves, I might add. As a matter of fact, I use Honey Badger on PHPRoundtable, and I was doing some testing of some potential streaming solutions using PHPRoundtable's website, and I broke the routes, and I knew immediately because Honey Badger notified me. So I want to thank you, Honey Badger, for saving my bacon there, because I would have never had gone back and looked at that had you not notified me. And as a thank you for that, and for giving us money, here's your commercial.
When you're in production, 1,000 things can go wrong. You could deploy a bug in your latest release. Your background jobs can silently fail. Someone could trip over the network cable at your data center, and this all comes back to you. You need to know when bad things happen and be able to respond to them quickly. That's why we built Honey Badger. It's easy to install Honey Badger in your back-end applications and front-end JavaScript. It only takes a few minutes of configuration and you'll have monitoring done. That's because we hook into popular web frameworks, job systems, and the browser, so that when any of them crash, we can automatically let you know. We ping your application from our global fleet of servers to let you know about problems with connectivity, latency, and SSL certificates, and we monitor your recurring jobs to see if any of them stop recurring. When there's a problem, we alert your team using the tools you already use. We can create issues in GitHub, Jira, and other issue trackers, and send notifications via Slack, PagerDuty, or other channels. When you click through, you'll be taken to detailed information on the error. You'll see things like request parameters, headers, user information, and the backtrace. Click on any line of the backtrace to view it in GitHub, Bitbucket, or your local editor. When you fix a problem, just mark it resolved and follow up with the affected user. That's Honey Badger. We're the monitoring tool for web developers who'd rather be, well, developing.
Thank you, Honey
Thank
Badger.
you, Honey Badger.
What were
Look
you
at
saying?
that. The bottom scroll timed up just perfectly.
Oh, I planned that. Did a lot of planning on that.
My son is going to school now, and his English class assigned him an article about an impending doom for society, and he chose AI, which isn't surprising given the last 4 months of AI news. But I like to think that we started it when we started talking about Copilot.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I'm kind of fascinated with the fact that Copilot came out and everyone was like, okay, whatever. And then ChatGPT, they were like, it can code things, and everyone freaked out. It's like, yeah, Copilot, which is an AI just for coding, can code things in any language much better. Anyways, so he's been doing a lot of research in AI stuff, and a lot of questions arose about what he knows about tech. Because our generation was in a very in-between place with like the pre-smartphone era. I mean, hell, we had the car phone era. If I called something a car phone now, our kids would have no idea what I meant. But it used to be like, yeah, no, you needed a battery that was powered by a car to make a phone call on the
A
road.
big old bag too.
I was like,
Yeah.
it's the size of a backpack.
So we had this question, maybe 4 or 5 years ago about should programming be part of the general curriculum? And at the time it was like, well, no, I think the consensus in general was no, you don't have to know programming to be generally successful in the world today. But now I kind of worry because my kids have so little comprehension about the concepts of data, personal information, and how that stuff moves throughout the whole world that I want to take them to like a level 1 networking information class and say, like, this is how it works. One of the big sponsors for podcasts and YouTube videos is VPN services.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, hide your information. And like, people are going on VPNs to go to their Facebook pages, and I'm like, yeah, you've done zero. You've negatively accomplished anything.
Right.
And
I totally agree with you, by the way, Tom. I've stated this in the past that some level of just basic computer, comp sci, I guess, a little programming, a little networking, a little just, CPUs and how they work sort of conversation should be standard. And my biggest gripe about it was my kids in high school, or even a little bit before high school, they're like, yeah, no, we use this service that keeps everything perfectly private. I'm like, you don't understand how this stuff works. We tell you it's private, but as developers, we can do whatever we want with that data. We can tell you whatever we want with that data. I mean, we're in control. You don't understand how this technology works by the simple fact that you said that. And it was just, it was one of the more triggering conversations I had with my kids on technology, and the fact that I could feel them thinking, oh, shut up, old man, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, we built this internet. And
well,
yeah.
But it was HTTPS when I put my credit card in.
there was
I
a
did
time-
that.
There was a time when my kids were like 8 years old. They were maybe a little older, but they were young, new to the internet. And all I did was run a DNS service locally. So when they looked up stuff on their phones, I saw what the domain name was they were looking up. And one time I saw something slightly objectionable, and like ran into my kids' room. I saw that. And their minds were blown.
Yep.
And I built everything educating them about internet safety off of that experience, which was, yeah, no, I'm not going to see everything you do. And when my kids were older, when they were 15, I challenged them, do something that I can't find about on the internet. Try to hide something from me. And when I see it, I'll let you know. But if I don't see it, I'll give you money. And never paid $1 to any of my kids because they knew I was the king of the internet in the house, and that above me was another king of the internet. And that a lot of the stuff in San Diego class is like schools. They're doing these internet safety courses in elementary school and junior high and stuff, but like it doesn't go extreme enough, because in those age ranges, the kids aren't concerned about privacy. They don't have stuff that is driven by hormones and secrecy. Like, you really have to.
My kid, when you were talking about your DNS story, I was thinking about a story of my own that I did with the kids that freaked my kids out. And my kid just mentioned it in Discord. We had apples at the time. I forget what I had in their bedroom, and I had the apple. And there's the whole, if you don't use Apple, they have this talk that you can run on the command line. So I would SSH into their box, and I'd start running talk and run all these, have their computer talk to them. Freaked them the hell out the first time I did it. Like I heard them absolutely freak out, and it was one of the more enjoyable dad moments I had in life. Yeah.
So we have these Alexa devices.
Wait, I want to interrupt you one more time. I have both my naturally born kids join us in Discord all the time. My kid's partner, my Spanish-speaking kid, joins us. My wife is in Discord. Now I just saw my mother-in-law post. I'm like, we're going to have to end this podcast. Like, there cannot be any more podcasts now.
This is the last episode.
This is it. We're done. Too many of my family members are watching.
We bought my kids Alexa devices, and my wife very quickly learned about the drop-in feature.
Uh-huh.
And I can tell you what, none of my kids will ever install any smart speakers in their rooms ever, because they love to sleep in, and she will just drop in and be like, "Hey, get up, you have to go to work." And teenagers love their privacy. They love locked doors. But the sound of their mother's voice coming from within a locked room is just horrifying. And so, yeah, we dropped, one Christmas we dropped $100 to make sure everyone had these devices. They've never been plugged in since. They just won't do it. And I'm like, you know what? Valuable lesson. Even if you don't know why it works, you don't know how it works, you have at least learned a lesson. Don't take any device from a person who's just giving it to you.
We talked about education and school and all that in computer programming. And for those of you listening, I did not set that up. This was not planned. John and Tom do not know anything about this, and I haven't even announced it, but I'll announce it here. I haven't put it on the website yet, but the next PHP Roundtable is focused on education and development. I'm trying to get as much of a heavy lean towards PHP as I can, but I have some instructors and some students and some self-taught people and a bunch of people joining the roundtable, and we're going to talk about that process, like what it's like to learn to code today. Because back when I learned to code, like half the stuff I work on, all the stuff I work on today wasn't around. So I was fortunate. I was at the birth of a lot of these languages, and I was able to grow with these languages. These kids now, the internet is established. The internet is a core piece of the world. They're hitting this ground running, and I'm just kind of curious. It's like, how is it being taught? How is it being learned? And what are you doing with that knowledge? So that's going to be the next PHP Roundtable. I'm looking to have it in February. We're kind of getting everybody to vote on the schedule. That's how I do it. I send out a invite to all the people on the panel and say, hey, let me know what day works for you. And then I hopefully get as many people to all agree on a certain day and that's when I'll schedule it for. So look for that to come out this weekend. I was gonna leave it out there until tomorrow, and then I was going to pick a day on Saturday and then get it up on the website. But because you're listening to the PHP Ugly podcast, you get to know early. And it's not even because you're a Patreon supporter. No, it's because you just listen to us. But we do like to thank our Patreon supporters.
Thank you.
Like,
to all
that was
of our-
quick, Eric. You got that up and done during the show.
Hey,
Did it live.
you noticed? I did
notice.
it all during the show. Yeah, thank you, Patreon supporters. We do
just
appreciate
before we go,
everything.
just before we went live, Eric's like, "Oh crap, it's February. I forgot to update the Patreon page."
Yeah. I was working with. I don't know if you saw in Slack, John, but I was working with Frank from our Discord, who is a PHP Architect employee, and working on that project I'm working on. And he was like, "Hey, I need some icons." He goes, I need to figure out some icons." I'm like, "Oh, I'll get you some icons, brother. Just what do you need?" And I was kicking out icons to him. He goes, "How are you doing this so fast?" I'm like, "I've been creating YouTube thumbnails for the past year and a half, man. Icons are nothing to me."
I love that Frank is relegated to attends the Discord, also the longest term employee of PHP Architect. No?
Oh, wait,
Is it
is
me?
he? No.
Yeah, he is.
No.
Aside from
Is he?
you two? Yeah, he is.
I think Kalen is longer, right? I think it was Kalen then Frank.
Kalen took that break to move to Canada, and so he got written up.
No, he moved to Canada while he was an employee. He was
Yeah, that's
working
what
for us when he moved.
He's trying to make sense of it.
Yeah, he was in San Diego.
So I watched a video that was talking about the different intelligence levels of these home assistants and these smart assistants, and one of the things that really stood out, this is an MKBHD video for anyone who wants to look it up, was that the Google Home Assistant is context aware, whereas none of the other assistants are. So if you say, "How tall is Mike Tyson?" it will say how tall he is. But then if you say, "How old is he?" it will contextually remember that you're talking about Mike Tyson.
Okay, I'm gonna test you because I know it claims that. I just don't know how good it is. Hey Google,
No, I
how
watched
tall is Mike Tyson?
Mike Tyson is 5 feet 10 inches tall. People also sometimes ask me, "What is Mike Tyson's illness?" Do you want to hear the answer?
What is Mike Tyson's illness? No. Hey Google, how old is he?
He's 56 years old.
You right, Tom? There you go. Done live.
So the other thing, so Alexa, Siri,
Did you hear what
and,
it said though when I
Bixby.
asked how tall it was? Google
No.
replied, I think it said 5'6" or something, and she said, "You want to know what other people ask me a lot about Mike Tyson is what is his illness? Do you want to know that answer?" No.
But now I'm curious. What is it?
very, very clearly repetitive concussion syndrome.
We were talking about
Yeah. So,
Go ahead.
but here's the thing, right? Is that this is what Chat GPT has shown us is that the capabilities are there. They just don't want us to acknowledge it. If we could start having full conversations with these home devices, we would start to wonder how much information they're actually gathering. And if you had a home device connected up to ChatGPT in a session that managed your whole family's conversations, you could say, "Hey, what is the long-term effect of marijuana usage?" And it could say, "Well, it's this and this and this and this. Are you interested in how much marijuana your son is using?" And I'm like, no, that's a bad thing for Google to just be interested in. But it technically right now can absolutely do that. It's just that they don't want us. and I hate to say, like, big tech, but they don't want us to know how bad the situation really is that there is absolutely someone at Google who has a console who can type in how many customers do we reach when we approach this target market, and it says you reach X number of people. Do you want to know what demographics that targets? Do you want to know what area of the country that's
It's
in?
called MailChimp.
That information is out there. And when we talk about Cambridge Analytica hacking Facebook, that's the information that they were after, and this is how they're compiling it. So when a political organization says, hey, we're doing attack ads, what markets would be the best ones that this would run in? They get a solid fucking answer, not like a guess. They get a solid answer that says, this is it.
Oh, yeah.
And
I'm a huge fan of AI. Speaking on that topic, like,
I'm not talking about being a fan. I'm talking about literally the opposite.
But I'm explaining to you. I'm a fan of AI. You can fight it all you want, but it's coming, and we as developers need to get a wrangle. We need to be able to wrangle this. This is where I honestly feel like our industry and our profession, we're going to start mirroring doctors, where we're going to have to take some sort of oath on how we use and how we develop and who we develop for and what that development's used for. But along the lines of AI, I'm sure I'm breaking something I agreed to and clicked through. But I was talking about Notion earlier. I'm a big fan of Notion. I got accepted into Notion's AI beta testing, so I have AI in my Notion.
You're the
enemy. Oh, you can fight it all you want, Tom. Fight it all you want. You're going to lose.
You are my enemy.
Well, I don't like you anyway, so I don't really care.
That's where we're going.
What is going on with your mic? Is it just me?
No, it's not just you, and it doesn't come through. It's not a problem on Zencastr either.
It's just in the podcast.
But I don't know. Do you guys hear it on the stream? Does Tom's mic go in and out as he's talking on the stream? I know it does for John and I. I gotta imagine it does for the stream as well. But Zencastr doesn't have a problem.
Just buy a new house about it.
Well, Zencastr won it because it's recording. Well, yeah, it's very weird.
Anyways, so the AI, obviously the AI situation is unavoidable, and since the 90s we've had these. Since the 90s, we've had these codes of conduct and ethics things, but we've never held anyone to them. And we started to say, like, hey, Terminator 2, that's a real thing. Skynet's a thing that's gonna happen. And people get very concerned about it. Now, okay, so now this is a podcast about my microphone.
That's all right. You're muted, Eric.
Thank God.
I'm personally laughing because during our break, Tom's like, hey, I'm going to really get into something. You guys just let me know if I'm ranting and want to move on. And I've tried to move on like 2 or 3 times now. And Tom's just like, and fuck that AI. What?
It's very concerning stuff.
Yeah, I'll be concerned when AI hits the microwave.
You brought up the idea of a code of conduct, and so we have in the past looked at code of conduct, ethics, rules, but I want to point out that Microsoft fired, 40,000 people? Many of which were in their AI ethics department.
Hey, Google, how many people did Microsoft recently fire?
I don't know, but I found these results on search.
You're horrible. You're horrible.
Amazon also
10,000 employees.
Amazon also laid off a ton of employees, and one of them was my
is
neighbor. Sucked.
Concern is not the number they're laying off.
Terrible.
Microsoft in the last year hired 40,000 and fired or let go 10,000 people. The concern is that they've got companies like Twitter and Google and Microsoft who are disbanding their ethics division, but hiring for their AI divisions. That's a serious concern because AI should be uniquely tied to ethics. It's a thing that acts wholly unethically. It doesn't have the concept of right and wrong. And I also want to clarify here, when I say AI, I mean machine learning. We've had AI forever, since Pong. But machine learning does not learn good or bad. It learns correct or incorrect.
Now I want to go play Pong.
And I'm very concerned about the direction we're going. And I think that learning how coding works and learning how the information that we give to companies is used is so essential. So like, I'm super glad that your Spanish speaking child is minoring in something that makes them learn Java, because you have to have a slight understanding of what a data source is, what a processor is. You know, the news companies love to say algorithms. There's no such thing as algorithms in these kinds of machine learning processes. It's not calculus. The stuff is just, I mean, it's eventually calculus, but it's just...
Eric, were you
too
trying to move on from
abstracted.
AI? I forget.
We're too
A
abstracted
couple
from the
times,
way
2 or
that
3
this gets
times now.
used.
I'm just talking to Discord now. Hey, so who's speaking at the next SDPHP?
I don't
John, seeing how
know.
it's scheduled for next week.
I don't know. I think it was you. If I
No,
remember correctly.
no, you do not remember correctly. You remember completely wrong. That cannot be right.
I don't have a specific person.
Didn't you recently give a talk at a conference somewhere? I mean, don't you
wanna do
have
it
something in the
again.
chamber?
I do. I don't want to do it again. Don't make me do it again. I considered it. Maybe.
I need to put something
It
together.
feels very weird that we have not yet talked about PHP Tech, seeing
I
as
know,
the
I
last
thought about
dozen episodes have talked about it. So
I was
what's
trying
going
to
on?
lead into that. Well, we talk about how the PHP community is one of the best. Tom, pump the brakes, please. We've talked in the past about how much the PHP community, how great it is, and they're stepping up for us again. Because was it last week we talked about having to get the stuff from the East Coast to Chicago?
Mm-hmm.
And somebody, if you're in Discord and you're okay with me sharing your name, just give me a nod in Discord. But somebody in our PHPUgly Discord stepped up and said, "Hey, I can help you with that."
Like, hey, I go over there often enough. I'll go pick up the stuff for you.
Not only will they pick it up, but they're like, "I'll keep it on my property until the conference." So happy. So yeah, that's fantastic. We're still kind of working out a few things with it, but it's looking like John and I aren't going to have to do a cannonball run between Maryland and Chicago. So that'll be fun.
Where's the fun in that?
It would have been fun to go out there, but the expense to fly all the way out there, rent a truck, drive, a few
And the
states over.
stress. Yeah.
You tried asking to borrow Taylor's Lamborghini.
Thought about it.
That would have been awesome. Just hooking up to the back of a Lamborghini. that would make Reddit somewhere, I'm sure.
Hey Taylor, I know we're close friends and all. Can I borrow your Lamborghini in custom blue? Oh no, orange.
Yeah. Hey, it's even the PHP Architect color. It's perfect.
Exactly. Also, we have a trademark suit we want to talk about with you. We stole your color.
Oh, did you hear that Taylor they actually released what was it? Their trademark guidelines or something? Oh, I gotta find it. I would have to find it on his Twitter account. Yeah,
I can tell you that we haven't covered Laravel in a long time, and I still get the Laravel news breakdowns of every release and patch, and it seems like it's slowing down. I'm very thankful for that. Like the patch notes don't include major overhauls to fundamental systems.
They're saving it for Laracon.
I know.
I don't even know what Taylor's Twitter handle is anymore. Isn't it Otwell or something? Or is it Taylor Otwell? Maybe it's Taylor Otwell. Yeah.
And yes, Ben, you can put a trailer hitch on a Lambo. I have seen a Lambo towing a Lambo.
You've seen a Lambo towing a Lambo?
Yes.
Oh god, I freaking Twitter has gotten to be a dumpster fire. I can't even right now. Okay, here. Probably overdue, but I released the full trademark page for Laravel. So here, let me put this over here, and I will share this with you guys. So trademark page on the Laravel website. So yeah, and he's right. It is well overdue. I'm wondering how much of this came out of the whole Laravel certified conversations that they had, but
with that service that got shut down.
Yeah, because I think they wanted to continue to say Laravel certified or something. I forget the details of it, but it either way, Laravel's big enough. They needed to have this in place, so it's good to see that they finally took care of it. And I'm really happy to know that I kept the conversation between him and I on the elephant. So we're good. Oh, look at you. Where's the Discord at? Discord. Boom. There you go. That's not a. Is that a Lambo? Is that a Lambo? One of those Lambo trucks or something?
This picture is a Hurricane.
What?
It's a Lambo. It's a 1,200 horsepower Lambo towing a Hurricane.
What is a Hurricane? Is that a Lambo?
Yeah, that's their SUV model.
Ah, got it. Got it.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I mean, you guys have screwed with trademark stuff.
Not much.
Not much? I don't know. Isn't it kind of weird that Laravel's dipping their toes into this right now?
Well, I mean, they had to start at some point.
Like
Not
they're set. Like,
is this a new website? When did they get a new website? I don't even go to their website anymore.
2 months ago.
This is new, right?
looks the same to me, but I don't go there, so I don't know.
Looks the same to me, but I've never been there, so I don't know what it looks like.
I just remember red and black and white and words.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like the WWE sponsorship is new. They're Laravel lately seems to be running more like a company than an open source project.
It is a company that has an open source project.
Yep.
I preferred it as a more open source project than as a company.
You preferred it that way? I mean, that's the goal, right? You release something open source and you turn it into something that you make money from. I think it's awesome.
No, that is the opposite of the goal of open source.
No, it's not. What are you talking about? No.
I'll tell you what, Tom. You can talk to Taylor about it at PHP Tech this year.
Can I?
No, you'll run into a corner.
He didn't say he wasn't coming.
Oh boy, the PHP Tech situation I am struggling with.
What?
I need to run it up the right pipeline, and
you're running out of time, buddy.
I know.
Actually, we're running out of time, John.
We had a very close call with the PHP architect with PHP Tech because there's an all hands company event that is the week before PHP Tech.
Get them to move it and instead go to PHP Tech as a company.
Well, I'm going to try and use it as leverage and say, hey, you only have to pay for the one plane ticket to PHP Tech from the all company event. That saves you on a whole plane ticket.
And if they're a big enough sponsor, they'll be able to get other people in too.
So here's the question though: is that if I can't pull it off,
Can you buy a ticket? Sure.
Yeah, we don't have a problem with that. We take mortgages. We take new homes.
I'm glad you picked up on what I'm putting down, but
Make a deal with you. You go pick up our trailer from this person's property and drive it to Chicago.
could we make this the most uncomfortable podcast by having an episode the week after PHP Tech where I didn't get a ticket? So, guys, how was it? Really wish I would have been there.
What are you talking about? We're gonna do a live episode that Thursday night with you at your house.
Getting those tickets. You got to
Tom,
know
you should be
people in
here.
high places, like the owners of the conference.
Yeah, I get so picky about this stuff, man, and I've been trying to reel it in with myself.
This does not count as picky, because I am positive I have helped with at least 10 hours of promotional material for a conference that I am not invited to.
You're invited. What are you talking about? The world is invited.
You can buy a ticket. Anyone can buy a ticket.
Come on, you can even go there. We wouldn't kick you out of the hotel.
I can't wait to do a remote episode while you guys are both at PHP Tech and I'm in my house going.
We've done it before. Oh, that's right. You didn't join us for that one, did you? We podcast from PHP Tech one year. It was a rough experience because
years ago.
Couldn't hear anything, but it was fun. It wasn't.
No, it was not fun. If you're talking about the one where we were on the panel with other people,
yeah, it was us. Round table, town hall. I think everybody worked as hard as they could to make it as pleasant as possible. John,
it was rough for me because I didn't know the format as we were getting into it, and the whole interview format is just not something we do, and I'm not. So I just kind of sat there. I remember that one.
I will be at PHP Tech one way or another. If I have to hitchhike and break in.
Well, we found out that your wife is not on the loan, so she can buy you a ticket.
She has credit cards, right? I mean, I understand she's just a teacher. They give teachers credit cards, don't they?
Wow. All right.
Don't wow me. You're the one that started it.
Just a teacher. There we go. That's the title for this episode.
No,
just a teacher.
Somebody already had the title, and I feel bad because Ben had a good title as well, but it's all in the family. But I'm gonna spell family PHPUgly. That doesn't make sense though. Elephant. Yeah.
Why doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, PHPUgly, all in the PHPUgly. Which reminds me, John, I never got your headshots, so thanks for that. Appreciate that.
Yeah, have you heard me talking about my week the past 2 weeks, bastards?
I heard about how good it's going now.
I mean, Eric got my headshot.
I was.
Means I'm going to be in every episode from now on.
I know, pretty much.
He's got headshots from me. They're just a little blurry.
They're taken from a potato. Just good God.
No. John just smoked some weed before he took his headshot pictures, and you've got 80 of the same picture of him staring.
I thought I took some good pictures.
You did. Just they were all blurry.
They weren't blurry. Stop it.
They were blurry.
They were not blurry. They're not as blurry as you're making it out to be.
We could have done Hot for Teacher. That would have been a fun one.
They were. I think they are usable. If you need one badly enough, you'll use it. Enough.
You know what's really fun is trying to rotoscope a blurry picture.
Just fucking do it. Just use it. What's wrong with you? Man, I'm trying to make the show better. Don't you know? You don't do that. I do that.
All right, you do that now, please.
That's why he's CEO.
God, I'm trying to make the show better. That's all I try to do is make the show better, and then what I get crap out of it. I set up the Toast Cam day, and Toast didn't even come to the office. I add things.
What happened? What happened after your Toast tore your wife's office apart?
I should share that. I'm going to share it in our Discord. This is why you want to be in our Discord. I'm going to share a video in our Discord that just about got our foster dog fostered the hell out of our house. This dog, I couldn't believe it.
I couldn't believe you just stood there videotaping it. Like, what are you going to eat next?
No.
Come on, go get it.
Just film.
I've got to defend myself a little bit here because the routine we have now is my wife works at night, and we've talked about this in the past, and we have a pretty nice little routine now. The wife and I spend some time in the morning. We usually take the dog to the dog park, and we come home. I go to work. She goes to bed. Well, the dog has started sleeping with my wife in bed after the dog park, which works out for me because I'm not worried if she has to go out and go potty or anything. Anyways, so the fact that I'm in my office and the dog's not with me is not unusual anymore. And the other day I'm hearing something going on. I'm like, what is that sound? Where's that sound coming from? And I go upstairs to see what's going on. And I see the dog standing in my wife's office, and I see these papers all over the place. I'm like, nope, I'm getting the camera and I'm filming this because I'm not having my wife yell at me. I'm going to film this. And so I get my phone out and I start filming it. And then I walk into the office. I'm like, oh my God, you're so dead. You're so dead. There, she posted it. She put it in Discord for us.
I can tell you exactly where you went wrong here. Filming the dog tearing up your wife's paperwork instead of stopping him was probably the wrong move. Unless you have somehow monetized this on TikTok to pay for the paperwork.
Now, my concern was it had a printer cartridge in her mouth. And I'm like, no, don't chew. You know how expensive those things are? Don't chew the printer cartridge. Jeez, oh flip.
These are fucking expensive.
All right.
It's liquid gold.
Okay, we do need to wrap it up. We are running really late. So I'll be short on this part.
I'm sorry. You saying, "Oh my God, a book, Toast." What were you thinking?
I didn't realize how bad it was till I walked into the office.
I'm afraid you haven't realized how bad it was yet.
All right, listen, I'll make this short. I like to do something inspirational at the end, and I ramble about it, but I'll make this one short. Listen, the journey can get hard. The journey's not easy. That's why it's journey. Just keep pushing through, keep achieving. You'll get to where you need to be eventually. That's my little words of wisdom this week. I appreciate everybody, and I appreciate everybody joining in to this episode of PHPUgly, episode 321. I'm Eric.
21. I'm John.
I'm Tom.
How did we get so many episodes? It's crazy.
Keep it ugly. And I don't have
keep it ugly. What did you just say? Keep it ugly.
I'm done. We're not doing this anymore. I hate all of you.
Send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric, he stays loud and passionate.
Andreas, you came in way late here, brother.
You shout the host name Thomas, cause he's never wrong. You shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this.
I have another person or two for you to reach out to for your roundtable.
Okay.
If you're interested.
I am. It's a fairly big roundtable, but I'm fine with that. And I can definitely reach out to more people. I wasn't going to reach out to my Spanish-speaking kid, but I still might.
We'll talk about the PHP, the programming language.
We'll talk about it off there.
No exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? and web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together
You gotta get
on
your
the
audio
Thursday
working.
nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude.
I don't know how you guys do the
True
show
lyrics by
without
y'all
hearing
broadcast
this
on
anymore.
YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major.
Usually I
All up
play
in
it,
the comments, they got plenty
you know,
of
live
haters, but they doing what they doing.
in a
Keep
tab. I
it
just didn't do
ugly.
it
We ending
today.
every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go.
Let's go.
Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad,
Kill,
man. Hope
you're
your
not
channel is
running-
doing
you're
real
not
well
running
on
your
YouTube.
Zencaster.
Hope you guys are having
No,
fun.
you are.
And
You got
it
it.
was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah.
Elephant butts. All right.
Dude, I'm so excited and nervous about this managing a team thing.
How so?
Did I miss
What?
something?
Managing the little league team.
Oh! They're just
Baseball,
little
baseball.
snot-nosed brats. Just yell at them, make them cry. They'll just put them in line.
I know. I don't want to do that.
Jesus. You manage adults, man. You think some snot-nosed kid is gonna be an issue?
If I've learned anything, you buy them trophies whether or not they win or lose, and then blame their generation for always needing trophies.
No,
Make
you know
them
what? You know what? You're actually gonna what will be eye-opening for you? Probably. I don't know, but when I was a kid, it would have been how shitty parents are.
Boy.
Hey, John, I don't think little Jerry there is getting enough playtime.
Ooh.
Well, luckily, I'm
Baseball.
still in little league where everyone gets playtime.
Nope. You are. Baseball and soccer are different. Because soccer,
Yeah, they're completely different sports, Tom.
parents, soccer parents, they know that their kid is not going to be Pele. They just want their kids to engage in a team sport. But fucking baseball parents, they think their kid is the next superstar.
Every one of them, man. Every one of
And
them.
holy shit, the fights I have seen at Little League games.
Did I ever tell you guys the story about when my kids started doing water polo? I didn't know anything about water polo. I mean, I kind of had an idea of the sport, but I didn't know like the rules or anything. And I
You
never
still don't
been
know
to.
them. You still don't know
I'd
the
never-
rules, yeah?
I don't, yeah, a few of them, but I'd never been to a water polo match before in my life. So I go to my kids' first couple of games, like the first couple of games, and I'm like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, are you allowed to talk during these? Like nobody's cheering. Like, can we yell at our kids or what?
They can't hear you. They're underwater.
Eventually, I think I became known as like that dad. Like nobody would sit by me anywhere because eventually I got tired of it. I'm like, come on, you don't need to breathe
I
that
love-
much. Go.
I love the idea that there was a slow transition where at one point Eric was like, "Yeah, fuck her up, fuck them up, fuck somebody up." I'm not good with pronouns yet.
Oh gosh, yeah. I still don't understand how water polo the cheering the lack of cheering in water polo. I think water polo is a lot like soccer in the sense like so many parents are just like trying to like tire out their kids.
Absolutely.
Just go do something. Just leave.
Except that in soccer in San Diego, it is a different story.
We've
Because-
got to figure out your mic for real.
Yeah.
Okay, so literally you just have to wait 2 weeks. Like, I'm getting a new desk, a new internet connection, new space all together. I have a big surprise to show you guys. It's a 48U server rack that is going to be directly behind me.
48
Oh.
you what the
What are you gonna do with 40?
you don't
I
need a
haven't-
full rack. What the hell?
Well,
I guess you
I
need
had
a
to-
lot of blinky lights.
He's gonna have 7,000 Raspberry Pis in it too.
I had to make sure that it was visibly behind me during any video session. So I either had to get a 28U or a 26U or whatever and put it up on stilts, or I had to get a 48U and build from the top down.
Oh, obviously, yeah. I had no other choices.
Well, so I told you guys the bee thing. Told my wife. And I think it took me 1 hour from making my wife cry about me getting her bees to saying, by the way, I bought a server rack and it's about an hour and a half away from here and I need someone to drive a truck there and get it. So
that made her cry? That was her second cry?
Do you not drive or something?
How long have we fucking known each other? No, I don't drive.
Not an hour and a half away, anyway.
No, I have a bubble.
Your bubble.
And the bubble's like 3 minutes, not an hour and a half.
No, like at this point in Colorado Springs, it's about 25 minutes. I can get to certain border, like where it goes from commercial residential to farming. We get into farming area, I am fucking out.
You and my wife would make a good team. I'm always getting the
bad
hey.
Team.
We need to go. I need to go pick this up. Can you drive me? And like we drive, and it's like, why are we picking this? What is this? I love her though. She actually does some pretty good work with it, and I know she's listening. So.
Shut up. No, I'm super excited. I didn't even tell you guys. I had the worst computer error on someone else's part this week. So I have on my debit card, I have like a $40 limit where anything over $40, it texts me and says, "Hey, you spent more than $40." And this is just so I track like fraud stuff. Every time the second that I run my card for $41, I get a text message. It works great. I love it. I gave my daughter my credit card and sent her to Home Depot to pick up a garden sprayer and a spackle removal trowel thing. And I get a message from my bank that says, your $3,605 transaction is over your $40 limit. I immediately, while calling my daughter, log into my bank account. My bank account says $36.05. She says, yeah, I've got the receipt right here, $36.05. And I tell her, hold on to that receipt as tightly as you fucking can, because I don't know what's happening. But I really think I do know what's happening. Obviously, it's just an off by decimal point error.
Math is hard.
Math is hard. Multiplying by 100 is hard. And I didn't call the bank. I didn't report this or anything. I assume some poor junior engineer got 500 phone calls in 30 minutes where he was like, yeah, updated the SMS system, boss. And then just got flooded with emails and then fired immediately. And I feel bad for that guy. So I didn't send him an email. But clearly there was an off by a digit error in one of the calculations that they pushed out. And it might have only lasted for 5 minutes. I'm sure.
That's the whole don't shoot the messenger. I mean, why would they have fired the guy who did the messaging?
Well, I I immediately felt so bad for some developer I've never met who just had the worst fucking day of his life. Where he's like, normally we send out 800 messages an hour. After you pushed your change, we sent out 400,000 messages that 10x'd every transaction that was executed.
You just reminded me of my week, which has been absolutely terrible, as we talked about. But it got even worse yesterday when we're just firing. We're pushing things out left and right. And when you're dealing with this asterisk service, you have to you don't restart the service, but you have to reload information into it. But on the servers, we also run some workers to process audio files and things and push them up to S3. So there's a lot going on. And I release some code and I'm like, oh, we need to restart the workers. So I go to all 20 servers and do a supervisor restart all, because that's how I restart my workers. Think nothing of it. 2 seconds later, I'm getting pager duty. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I still don't fully realize what's going on. I get on a call with somebody and they're like, we just went from 1,400 active calls to 900, and what the hell happened? And I'm like, oh shit, we now run the application through supervisor. So restarting that didn't just restart the workers. It shut down the entire phone system, brought it right back up. And immediately people are like, oh, I got disconnected. Let me reconnect. So it's like, I basically, it's like, this is not the right time to do this.
So I had an interesting issue this week that I didn't want to bring up on the recorded podcast, but
so you'll do it on this still recorded podcast,
the one that 80 people listen to at most. Yes. So a red team, for those who don't know, is a security team.
Hold on, Tom, before you get too far into this. Discord, if you want to help out on this, I'd appreciate it. And I am taking suggestions from you two as well. Give me a good family scene. Like, I'm thinking like sitting at a table or something. I want to do like an all in the family scene, but I don't have that on Canva.
I really can't think of any where one of the children isn't crying.
I'm fine with that.
Roasting marshmallows. Anyways.
Come on, Discord, you can do better than that. Give me a family scene.
Marshmallows. Family attending grandpa's funeral.
That's a good one.
Not as good.
That's very specific.
I ran out quickly. So a red team, for those
family
who
playing kickball,
is an internal team that penetration tests your own software. And a red team is historically runs very separate from the rest of the company. So, like, your communication with them will be limited and stifled. And we pushed out our new service and started getting a weird error where our dispatch service was saying, hey, the dispatch for this customer, for this instance, for this second is missing. So we ran the dispatch event and now it's gone, so we can't properly delete the dispatch event. So the way we named it was service name, M time, and then a random digit 0 through 9. And after like 5 people looking at this for an hour or two, the conclusion was this can't happen unless a single customer was uploading hundreds of times per second and intentionally creating a collision on our dispatch system. So we contact the red team and ask them if they're running tests against this system, and their response is yes. Say, are you running tests against the CSV upload? Yes. Is there some kind of rate limit to the upload you're sending? Yes. What is the rate limit that you're doing on this system? Could it be causing this error?
It makes sense.
The silence from the red team was a resounding, that's a you problem. If it's a customer, we wouldn't know. And therefore, you wouldn't know from us telling you that it's us. So we can't tell you. I said, okay, the tests that you're running, is it in the area of 1 to 10 per second for an individual company? And they said, yes, it's a five executions per second. It's like, okay, so we have this issue that can't actually occur and only interferes with customer facing. It doesn't cause a data problem, doesn't cause a data leak, doesn't cause any security issues. It just interferes with the customer experience if they were using the system in a way that is not usable. And the data team again, the red team again, said nothing. It's not our problem. So we had this issue come up that we had 5 people working on for a couple hours that turned out to be like, this is a low priority issue. We're not going to worry about it. If it comes up again, yell at somebody from the red team and ask them if they're doing this again to us. But like, what a pain in the ass. I love our security team. Obviously, we have to have a security team. But drove me fucking nuts for hours. I don't understand what's going on in Discord right now.
Oh, these are Christmas pictures.
Yes, it looks like a bunch of Santa-themed thieves are stealing a dead dog.
I'm sitting here talking to myself. You asked for happy family pictures, and she gave you some.
That's cute.
Context is important.
Yes.
I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. None of these are working out.
All right, so Eric, I will see you next week at SDPHP when you give a fantastic presentation. I'm out. Night all.
If you're looking for the bus, it's directly above you.
That's another story. That's an off-the-air story.
All right, sounds like we have to end the stream. Oh, shit, I'm so used to running the stream. That's
Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Bye.